It's a good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the Breakfast Club. We encourage you to please stay safe. COVID is getting serious, and we are losing friends and relatives almost on daily basis. Please, if you can stay at home, do stay at home, because that's the safest thing that you can do. Just make sure that you stay indoors. But I know it's not possible because we still need to make a living. We still need to go out and meet other people, go to work and do all these other things. But I really encourage people to always wear a mask, sanitize where possible, maintain social distancing, and if you can do your meetings or your conversations online or via phone call, please do that. Because the only way we can stop this virus is if we stay in one place, we isolate, we make sure that we don't pass it to the next person. Maybe we can save ourselves and the other people, because things are getting really bad. We are losing friends every day. It's actually getting scary. And of course, as COVID is ravaging, one of the things that are affected is our work. As journalists, we go out, we talk to people. Our trade basically strives by mixing and mingling, traveling and meeting different communities, telling us different stories. But as we have lockdown, we have cases going on, it has been so difficult for us as a site to actually go to many other areas where we can actually get good stories. We love to go to the communities, especially rural communities, who are not covered most of the times by the mainstream media, and talk to them. And it has been a challenge to go to these areas because they're also not connected. So we can't Skype with them, we can't Zoom, we have to physically go there, but at the moment it's not possible. And today in our program, we want to go back to some of the trips that we made to rural areas. You remember sometime last year, we went to Kungubo in Plumtree, and we talked to a family that is doing poultry, can I say small livestock, because they also have goats, they also have sheep, and they were doing quite a nice project. Just a few days ago, I was talking to the owner of the venture. He's in South Africa, and he was telling me that you know, after we left, there was a serious drought, there was no water, and he lost some of his livestock last year around October, November, especially goats, sheep, cattle, and he's saying, you know, he is recovering because the drought really affected him, and it was made worse by the lockdown. He could not transport food as he normally does, and it affected him. And we hope that he's going to recover, because he's actually doing a nice project. And these are some of the things that our government, our NGOs should be actually supporting these farmers, giving them capacity so that they can do more. Because some of the things, or some of the people, what they need is capacity building, guidance on how they can take the project to the next level and make money out of it.
Isigaba lesinye sakokungubo, and then isincane sakhona sikonswaya.
Okay.
Eluvuluma.
Yes, siyabona lapha lezi fuyo eziningi. Ngasho ukuthi lifuye.
Sifuye izimvu, imbuzi, inkukhu, izintshe, ama-ostrich, lengalukhuni, lama-thendele, lama-peacock.
Abantu abaningi bakhala ngendlala nje ezigabeni eziningi. Thina likufida ngalo kwezinto.
Ukudla lokhu ubaba useGoli, so ube esithengela ukudla kwezifuyo zona lezi kubuya ngapha ekhaya. Manje okwakathesi njengoba isimo sinje, izifuyo zami ziyafa ngendlala, azila nto ezidlayo.
Liyathengisa yini ukuthi izifuyo lezi?
Siyathengisa okunye kwakhona, but okuningi kwakhona siyadla inyama.
Ovele lapho iphekwa ngomhluzi weyinye.
Hayi inyama siyadla. Siyadla sibili, asila ukuthi siyacela kubaba masifuna nje. Siyahlaba siyadla, lakathesi nje nansana imvu sihlabile siyadla inyama.
Kuhlupha kunganani okwezinto khona ukugcina kule mkhuhlane kumbe akuyaziphilela nje akulankinga?
Hayi imkhuhlane yilokhu bakhona. But ubaba uyathenga imithi yakhona ukuthi sivikele emkhuhlaneni.
Lingathini kwabanye abantu mhlawumbe abayefuna ukugcina izifuyo njengani kulula okunganani?
Hayi kulula kodwa kunzima. Khona ngathi kunzima uma kungela kudla. Kodwa uma kule kudla kulula, kulamanzi, kulula ekufuyeni kwakhona.
Siyabona lapha kulamanzi indawo yonke. Lagebha umgodi. Ngibona amadada lapha afuna yini amanzi ukuthi ebhukutshe kumbe azihambela nje lapha kungabi.
Amadada ngiyawafakela ebhavini kule bhavu lapha. Ayabhukutsha. Sometimes kule damu lapha ekhaya ngiyathelela amanzi ngilokhu angenisa phakathi entsheni zemanzini.
Ilikhayela ukuthi ibhizinesi ingathi likuthatha njengebhizinesi yini okuyinto lokhu kumbe into nje lezenzela yona nje ngokuzikholisa?
Hayi ngizakwenza ibhizinesi ngokuya kwesikhathi. Mangikubona lami sokuthi ngithengise.
Engakutsho nje ukuthi kulula kuye yena umnikazi wazo ngoba nanzelela ukuthi iziphiwo sakhe ngoba abanye bayazama into zakhona ziphumelele but yena kuye kukhanya kulula. So sikuthatha ukuthi maybe iziphiwo sakhe.
So kwabanye kuyabe kusehlula.
Maybe uthando lwakho babe bengalalo basuka bekubone maybe kube nzima ngoba yena vele kwasekukhuleni kwakhe wayeqale esasemncane vele wayethiya amajuba efuya amajuba kusase izinyoni zeganga. So kusho ukuthi vele kwasukela khomphana kuye. Mina nje ngingumfowabo angilazo izinto lezo nolazo. So yena kuye kulula kakhulu ngoba lokuzifida kwakhe vele kukhanya kulula.
Likhule lonke vele bethanda ukwelusa bengumuntu nje.
Vele yena ukhule ethanda izifuyo kakhulu. Konke lokho inyoni zeganga vele bezithanda. So vele kuye kulula kakhulu ngoba into zakhe lezi vele uyakwanisa ukuthi ezispendele imali ukuthi ethenge konke ukudla. Like vele into esiyiphoqile lockdown ngoba vele wayethenga phela uthola ukuthi imota zabo malayitha ziyabuya khona abazichiya ukudla kwazo. Maybe igrocery yabantwana ingekho kule yaze nezinyoni. Yabo.
So njengabomakhelwane kodwa kuyalencourage yini njengoba uthi lami unqeke kwesinsikhathi ngazama ukugcina ukulijuba okuyi-1 lapha ngibona ukuthi.
Hayi yena ekufuyeni thina siyabe singalankinga lakho but abanye ngaphandle omakhelwane uyathola ukuthi maybe bagcina sebecomplaina ngezifuyo zolezo ukuthi kuningi kakhulu but thina siyabe singakuboni kukuningi siyabe sikubona ukuthi lathi kunje. Silabantu emangweni siyabe sibalayela ukuthi hayi mali ihambe emgwaqweni lapha kule nyoni lezana eziningi sesibadirector khona lokho ukuthi hayi lingahamba endaweni eso lapha kule nyoni eziningi like intshe like esigaba zona lezi sonke from plum tree kona la intshe abaningi bayiqalile ukuyibona khona abayazi.
In our trips we also visited Mabongane Dam in Maitengwe, which is a dam that used to be a very large, successful irrigation scheme. We knew that we know from the stories that we we heard from the villagers that at one point there was actually a rice irrigation project there. There was fishing, there was tourism, there were chalets around where people were coming to view animals and stay there. But then the dam, burst its walls many years ago, and it has not been recovered. It has not been repaired. And right now, this year, we have had good rains. And this time, I see pictures from that area of rivers flowing, of water all over. I just say to myself, only if government was fast enough to repair the dam wall, these people will be having a good time, because that meant that the dam was going to be full, the people were not going to have challenges with animals, and they were going to actually maybe start irrigating again. So these are some of the projects that we are going to be visiting, looking at some of the stories that we have covered and that are still relevant, and just checking progress on what happened when we left, because we cannot go out and look for new stories. So why not go back to some of the stories that we have covered and check the progress that has happened?
Mina ngumnisisi Komo, ibizo lami ezithupheni nguMatha Ncube. Ngihlala eJuchume village ward 10 Bambatsi.
Lina lifike nini kwendaweni le?
Mina ngafika lapha ngo1969. Hayi damu leli lihle kakhulu. Lihle kakhulu ngathi okunye sibili kwenziwa kwalo lami ngalibona singalibona lifakwa imibundo nalo. Hayi idamu leli layakhiwa laba lidamu elikhulu kakhulu, laligcwala amanzi okumangalisayo kwaze kwaba le-irrigation ngemva kwalo lapha. Njalo lalithi noma kungaba lokuthi kumbe izulu kalinanga for 3 years kumbe for 4 years, lalihlala liloko ligcwele. Selile nyamazana umvubu phakathi, laliselile zimvubu phakathi lapha. Hayi lali damu eligcina amanzi kakhulu, ligcina izinyamazana, ligcina imhlambi yezinkomo. Thina lapha sasibhenefitha inkomo zethu zazihlala khonapha, zizinathela zizidlela idlelo likhulu lisiyale, zazizidlela utshani zibuya zizinathela. Kwakufana lokuthi nje sasithi singaqeda ukulima siyelusi, sesicotshela khona ngapha sazi ukuthi siyabe sizohlola edamu ukuthi inkomo zikhona. Njalo ngemva khona apha sokule damu loneli isidaka lesi siyamila utshani bani bokufulela. Amanzi ayivulelwa kulama canal zokuvula amanzi. Utshani sasibusika khona lapha ngemva kwedamu loleli. Sinatha khona apha nxa sisikutshani.
So ukuze kube nje kwahamba nje.
Ukuze kube nje idamu ladubuka. I think 10 years back. Ya ngaphosi kungaba 10 years back. Ladubuka kwaphuma amanzi wonke edamu. Kulakhanya ke la swell maintenance kusukusela khonapho alisangaliphindele ilungiswe.
Njengezakamizi le mizamo bane lizamile ukuthi idamu leli lalinceda kakhulu libe buyele lapha lalikhona.
Siyazama siyafisa noma singelawo amandla, kodwa siyafisa ukuthi idamu leli sibili ngani uhulumende uyasivusela lona ngoba liyimpilo ebantwini. Lasezinyamazaneni kakhulu ngoba inyamazana ziyafa. Zona ezo zomganga zibe zihlupha nje emakhaya le, zihlutshiswa ukuthi ziyabe sezidinga amanzi ezaziwathola kulo leli damu. Amanzi hayi idamu lisaphila kwakulama canals alahlela khona lamanzi khatshane okule nyamazana, zinathela khona lezi ngabuye ebantwini.
So zilihlupha onganani inyamazana?
Inyamazana ziyahlupha, ezilimele sizilimayo ziyahlupha kakhulu, ziyadla amabele sevuthiwe. Ziyabuya indlovu zivune nje uvuke ekuseni usiyahlala phansi kungasela lutho emasimini. Ziyadla sibili lemthombo yona le imgodi ekhona enatha abantu. Ziyafika zibulale njengalapha nesithe sidlula salitshengisa ukuthi njini leyabulawa indlovu. Zibulale labafashi zidinga amanzi. Inkomo zithwele nzima ngoba zinatha labantu. Kumele impela kuvukwe ekuseni abantu besiyapompela inkomo. Ekuseni ebusuku kuyapontshela imhlambi abakutshintshwana kanjalo labantu besikha khonapho ngoba kathesi kulabanye kade besikhe emfuleni uma idengwe. Akusela manzi phansi. Bonke sebesikha khona phana emgodini oyiwona athi inkomo zona lezo. Plus iyafa imigodi ngenxa ukuthi lensimbi sezindala. Zikade zaba zinsimbi ezikhona sikaze sithole ezintsha.
Like lazama kodwa lina nje ezakamizi ukuthi mhlawumbe lihlanganisa imali lizama ukuvusa idamu.
Sike saba la umzamo lo. Sake sabuya impela abantu babeziphela ukuthi bezosebenzela khonapha bedinga amasaka ukuthi kufakwa amasaka kuzofakwa inhlabathi. Kuvuzama ukuvala idamu kwaqhatshwa lo munye umkhiwa. Angikwazi ukuthi la iwama ngaphi lo. Angikwazi ukuthi wama ngaphi wayenza kazange abe akuzange uncede ukwenza kwakhona ngoba indawo le ifuna imtshini emikhulu. Ayifuni khona okwezandla. Ifuna imtshina sibile emkhulu ezwayo izolungisa idamu leli. Silesifiso sokuthi uhulumende ngani uyasivusela lo leli damu, siyalifuna. Idamu leli lilakho konke lilempilo labantu abathi bangathola ukuqhatshwa sokulinywa ama-irrigation khona lapha. Njalo lidamu lilenhlanzi, ababebuya labavela kobulawa bezogola inhlanzi khona edamu lona leli. Lilakho okuningi sibile ukubenefithisa abantu.
Kade irrigation iseyama.
Kwahle kwaloba kubhoboka ngathi khona since kwaba iZimbabwe yahle yaphela irrigation.
Ngathi kona kuyini kodwa nje lifuna ukutshela uhulumende ngendawo le.
Hayi thina sifuna ukumtshela ukuthi uhulumende kasivusela idamu leli. Ikakhulu thina abantu yebo singaba nama plans ukuthi siyenze okuncane ukuthi inkomo zethu njengoba sinatha lazo emgodini, kodwa inyamazana zeganga zithwele nzima ziyafa ngobuningi seziphelile inyamazana ngenxa ukuthi zidinga amanzi ziwaswela. Kungaphela nje wona lamanzi abakhona emachibini lasemfuleni inyamazana zeganga sezihawula sezihamba zisifa uthola zicubele lapha yonke indawo le.
Ibizwa nguNabothi Nkomo. Uhlupho esihlangana nalo kakhulu lapha eMabhongani ngizaqala ngokuthi iMabhongani le sokushiwo nje unxuwa ladabuka. Manje uhulumende akasasilungiseli lona. Manje uhlupho selusiba lukhulu kakhulu izinyamazana nazo sezimuva zisiye ebantwini siyafuna amanzi ebantwini.
Imizamo banelekela izamo ukuthi likhulume nohulumende.
Imizamo izanyiwe sibili ngoba sike sazofika nakhona lapha nabanye ababebikelwe uhulumende ebikelwe ukuthi idamu limochakele bafika abanye kwathiwa izethembiso zathi hayi kona lo maybe ngoJuni kuzabe livalwa kodwa namhlanje sibona kuloko kungakavalwa kuze unyaka susiyaphela njengoba usuphela. Isicelo sami ngedamu leli bengicela sibili kungakabi kudala uhulumende esincede asilungisele idamu alivale izikhala zona lezo ezivuzisa amanzi ngoba ngaphandle kokuthi kuwenziwe njalo inyamazana ezikule umango lo ziningi kakhulu. Sichitekelwa zinyamazana sichitekelwa nayi izifuyo okuyikuthi zonke lezi zinto bekuyizinto ebezingezethu ebezigcinwe yileli damu.
Sikhuluma inyamazana ezinjani lapha?
Kule ndlovu zona ezesikhuluma ngazo kule nkonkone ezihlala khona lapha kulamabhalabhala ahlala khona kunempunzi ezihlala khona lapha amadube akhona lumango kunengi nokunye okuncane okuningi ube kunatha khona lapha konke izinto eseziphakathi kwenhlupho loma.
I still believe that with the right investment in our farmers, in our rural farmers, our communities can actually be self-sustainable. I was talking to someone the other day and they said to me, commercial farmers was farming that was happening in closed rural areas, but most of the commercial farmers were actually, all the commercial farmers were actually in rural areas, in rural settings. They only divided land, and the only problem was they did not include the local communities in whatever activity that they were doing. They did not pass the skill to the communities around them. And we can actually have a lot of community projects going on, ownership projects, and these people can survive. I think we should get to a time where we don't always have to depend on donors for food, for money, for everything. So we can sustainably, produce a lot of these things. We can, if we have the right skill, the right resources, we can do water harvesting. Our communities can be self-sufficient and also import or sell some of their stuff to other countries and also to town. Imagine if rural communities could come together and do a goat project, a chicken project, or whatever project they have, because they have the land. All what they need is water and the skills. So I encourage our communities, our government to come up with ideas that will empower rural communities to be able to produce their food, whether there is drought or there is rain. Because some countries, they don't have, they are in a desert, but they manage to export. So why can't we actually harvest water and do better things? My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again in other programs, please stay safe. Always wear your mask, social distance, sanitize, and if you can stay at home, please do.